Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Billy, and I am the founder and organizer of Bookstore Romance Day. And I just wanted to take a moment here to thank you all for attending this heart-stopping romance panel presented by Bramble. To also take a moment to thank the authors for being here with us this afternoon. To thank our sponsors, especially Bramble, who is our headline sponsor this year. And to ask you to please, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A. They will get lost if you try and drop them in the chat, so put them in the Q&A, and we will try to get to them at the end. And with all of that being said, I think that's all of our housekeeping. I'm going to turn it over to Audrey to get us started. Thank you.
Wonderful. I would like to introduce by name each of the people, and then they're going to tell you a minute or so about themselves, and then we'll get into the chat about heart-stopping action. So we have Chloe Penaranda, JT Geissinger, Naima Simone, and Rebecca Johnpee. Welcome, everyone. Chloe, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you write?
Hi, yes, I'm Chloe Penaranda. I write epic love with tragic villains and romantic fantasy. I have 2 series, and There Comes to Rise series and The Stars Are Dying, and I live in Scotland. There's not much else to me other than that.
Good enough. Scotland is a wonderful place. I need to visit. JT?
Hi, I'm JT Geissinger, and I write in a kind of a wide variety of genres. Most recently, I've been doing gothic romance, dark romance, but I also have a paranormal series. I have a rock star series. I have a mafia series. So I have 35 books and novellas out, so there's a lot to choose from. My next release comes out in November, and that's titled Blackthorn, and that is enemies to lovers, gothic, very, very spicy, 5 chili pepper spicy, and one of those books that you're not going to be sure what's real and what's not. So that's me.
Wow. Naima?
Hey, my name is Naima Simone. I write contemporary romance with the door not only thrown wide open, it's like blown wide open, cutting out another door right next to me. So I write, I have several series, everything from small town romance to my newest one, which comes out in October, and it's my first dark romance with Bramble. And it is a dark romance mafia fairy tale reimagining of Snow White and the Huntsman.
Sounds exciting.
It does.
Rebecca?
Hi, my name is Rebecca Johnpee, and I write dark romance. Basically, I write multi-genre books. I write different books like contemporary, fantasy, but right now I have a dark mafia romance coming out, and it's gonna be out November 25th, and that's like my first book ever that I am publishing. So it's just like my first time. Yes.
Congratulations.
So thank you. So I'm Nigerian, and I currently live in Nigeria.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
So the title of this panel is called Heart-Stopping Action. I wonder who would like to jump in and tell us what you consider that term to mean, and maybe an example from one of your books, and then maybe an example of something you read that you really like from a favorite author. Anybody can jump in.
I'm nominating Naima.
Oh, wow, really? I thought you. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. All right then. Okay. I just made a confession recently. It's funny. I just made a confession recently that action is like the hardest thing for me to write, other than sex scenes, actually. So, and there's a lot of action in The Huntsman. And I wrote this scene. My father is a martial artist, right? And he's also a pastor. So marry those two. I don't know how that happened, but it is. So it is what it is. And he's a martial artist. So I wrote these love scenes, I wrote these action scenes. And my first one, I was talking to him about it, as one does with their pastor father. And he was like, well, do you want me to read it? And I was like, yeah, daddy, go ahead. Yeah, would you? He was like, yeah, I'll read it for you, Naima. Go ahead and send it over. So I sent it over. I'm thinking this is a good scene because the scene takes place between the huntsman character and the Snow White character, Eshe and Malachi. And she's obsessed with him, by the way. She's been stalking him for 2 years, even though he's been sent to kill her. And she's been waiting for him to show up so she can show him how much she loves him with her fists. You got to read the book. And so they do their foreplay by fighting. And so I send the scene of my father with the bad words crossed out. And I'm waiting like an hour because I'm like, I'm gonna get this back in an hour. A few hours pass and I call him. I'm like, well, do you have it? He tells me don't call him back. And then a few hours more pass and he sends it back. And then he calls me and it's completely rewritten. It's completely rewritten. And he calls me and he's like, I was like, Daddy, was it that bad? He was like, well, let me put it this way. All you was missing was the pow and the bam from Batman.
Okay, but is that bad?
Obviously I'd written a comic strip.
Oh,
But
wow.
I'm gonna tell you what, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. So now I won't allow my father to critique my love scenes or tell me how to write a love scene, but I do let him critique my fight scenes, which when you read them in this book, this is why they're good. I'm just gonna call it they're good. And when you read the dedication in the front where I dedicate the book to him as well as my husband and my mother, it's because he really helped me with those with those fight scenes.
Okay. It's good to have a specialist on call. I
I,
like
I'm saying.
Okay, but can I call your dad the next time I need a little help with some of my
Listen, he always tells me he was like he calls them my author friends. So
Okay.
I'm sure his door is open.
Okay. I may take him up on that. That'd be cool.
Who else would like to jump in on what heart-stopping action means for you? And then maybe if you have a favorite author that's done that or you've been inspired by.
Okay, I'll go next. Heart-stopping action. So my novels are usually character driven. I don't do plotting. I don't outline. I don't do any of that. I start with two characters and a conflict. And so for me, the conflict becomes what the action grows out of. And some of my series have a lot more conflict or action, I should say, than others. So for instance, my Mafia series, the Queens and Monsters series, these guys are doing a lot of fighting, shooting, blowing things up and all of that kind of thing. So because I'm a movie buff and my husband is a huge movie buff and he loves to watch action movies, I have this whole sort of background in my head of how action scenes should go to make it interesting, to make it fast paced. And so usually when I'm writing an action scene, if I don't start to sort of sweat or, my heart starts to pound, I know it's a little bit boring. So I'll go back and I'll cut it up very quickly. The dialogue has to go more quick. The action things that are happening on page goes faster. The sentences get shorter. So it's kind of just a boom, boom, boom. The action is rolling out. And I like to have surprises in there too, so that people, even if it's just a car chase or someone's, about to get whatever, kidnapped or what have you, there's all kinds of shocking little twists in there that helps the action go along. And I think when I first started reading 150 years ago, when I was a kid, I was really into Stephen King books. Mm-hmm. And he has this certain way of telling a story that really draws you in. And then all of a sudden there's all this crazy action that goes on. So I really liked his style of storytelling. So I think I've sort of brought some of that to my own work. But yeah, and whenever I think a lot of it just comes out of the story. So if you have a cute sort of like a rom-com small town romance, you're not going to have the same action feel as if you have these different type of underworld characters, or, you know, even if it's set in the future or if it's romantasy or what have you, you can get a lot of that stuff in there. So to me, it just means the heart pounding action thing. It just means that you really, you can't put the book down, right? And two of my favorite authors, actually authors that I know, Melinda Lee and Kendra Elliott, are both, they're more like police procedurals, but there's so much action in their books. I can recommend them for if anybody who's looking for, you know, some kind of fun action type of book. So yeah.
I forgot to give my authors. Can I just say them real quick?
Yeah.
Shirley Gray. Shirley Gray and Nalini Singh are my favorites for action. Okay, carry on.
Okay, so for me, I really love movies. I watch a lot of movies, action movies, and like with my dad. So before I write a scene, like let's say like a car chase scene or like a shooting scene where there's this like huge shootouts, I just picture everything in my head. Like I watch the whole scene play out in my head and then I just type. And I always have like this playlist for like writing action scenes or like suspense scenes, and then I just have that on and then I just play it while I write. So it's so big in my head. And like my book features like heists. So there's a lot of sharp movements when you want to like do like heist scenes where, and I work with like, I'm so sorry, I'm all over the place. I work with like I work with so many characters doing heists. So it just all comes together when I write. I just love how they move, how they're like, they feel so alive when you're writing like action. So yeah, that's what I really love about like writing action scenes. I just love the way it all just plays out in my head while I write. Imaginative
so
things.
you listen to music while you're writing?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn. For me, when sort of heart-stopping action meets heart-stopping romance, it's all about that build-up. So you spend most of the novel, and I love slow burn, and I like to start off with my couples I like to call them salty simps, where they're in very reluctant situations, forced to be together, and you're building up to those climatic moments where the characters have been refusing their feelings all that time, and that action point where you kind of, it really breaks open what they're willing to do for each other, and the reader kind of spends the book in all the characters' heads, or single character if it's single POV, and so they kind of get an idea. But that heart-stopping action moment for me is all about that, when the characters realize the depth of not only their own feelings but what the opposite character is willing to do for them.
Mm.
Okay, that sounds good. What else should we go on to from here? Do you want to talk about a little more detail about the kinds of other books that you have written, or things, your works in progress maybe, that would either fit this category, or just something that you're really excited to share that people can look forward to seeing from you?
I would actually love to hear from the other ladies what their process is as far as writing. If it kind of fits into what we're talking about, writing these types of action-packed books, how they come up with, you know, the concept and how they go through to the end. Do you start with a whole plan? Do you kind of wing it? You know, what's your process like for that? Because for me, you know, I just totally wing everything. So I'm always interested to hear how other authors handle that.
I'm a plot. Not only am I a plotter, I'm an anal plotter. Like I'm the one who's plot, like you're I say and I hate the dreaded word synopsis. Like if I have to turn in a synopsis, I'm crying. But for me to write, I have to plot out and it ends up being like 11 pages. And
Wow. Okay.
yeah, because I'm so anal. Like I need to know where I'm going, how I'm getting there. And not saying that something doesn't change along the way, because inevitably it does. Something always changes along the way, because it might be one of the characters, or when I'm in the book and a situation might change, which might change something else like midway through the book. But if I have that plot, like if I have it plotted out, I know how to get back to where I was. Yeah. And if I don't, I mean, I get so stressed because I'm the person who will go to Wikipedia before I go to a movie to read what happens. Like I need to know what happened.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely a plotter. But like you, I start with, I'm character driven. So I actually do start with characters first, and then I start plotting the book around my characters.
Wow. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to say I'm quite like you, JT, where I start with more like a character dynamic that I know I want to go for, whether it's like the mentor-mentee type thing, like a kind of trope, as you will. And I have certain scenes that I know that I want to put in the book, and I am very bad for writing out of order. And I will write like core scenes or even like the ending and go back and fill out the rest. And it is very much, I like to call it discovery writing. It is discovering the plot as you go. And but I also like Naima, like to know what's going to happen. Like I love spoilers. I love spoilers, but yeah, I'd say I'm more of a discovery type writer.
How about you, Rebecca?
Well, I just know the starting of the book and then the ending, and then I go from there. The in between would come while I write. It's just gonna come. I don't plan. I just know that, okay, like Chloe said, like I have scenes. I'll just like jot down scenes when they come to me. I'll just, okay, I'm gonna add this. I don't know when I'm gonna add this. I don't know what's gonna lead to this. I'm just gonna, when that time comes. But like I do know how it starts and I know how it ends. But that middle part, I just wing it. I just wing it, and then I add scenes as I go. That's how I work.
Okay.
Y'all are giving me straight anxiety.
I don't know if you guys have like you know, you get like really good quotes that come to you, and then you have these notes apps full of like just the random quotes, and then you build whole scenes around this one quote that came to you. I don't know if you guys are like that as well, but I do that a lot.
I do that. I'll be up, I'll just roll over at like 2 o'clock in the morning and text.
I did that just the other night.
That's the fun thing about being creative too, and people who aren't creative for a living, I think they probably think that we're crazy, because like I'll run out in the middle of a movie and just go write something down or make myself a voice note or something, or in the middle of a dinner I'll have to run out and do things because things will just occur to me, and I know if I don't write it down I'll totally forget it because my brain is like a sieve. But yeah, so it's fun hearing everybody's process.
So like Rebecca, so you're the person who has a new book coming out, first book. How has it been? Like have the whole process. Like what are you excited about most about this, and how has it been?
I am excited for the book to come out. That's what I'm excited for. The process has been new. It has not been easy, but like I am just, getting the hang of things. This is my first virtual event. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm just like learning as I go, and like I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm scared about the whole thing. I'm so scared, but I'm still happy. I'm still excited. I can't wait for everyone to meet my characters and to meet the chaos. And I'm just so excited for people to read my words. Yeah.
How long did it take you to write your novel?
6 months, I think, because it was on Wattpad before I got like my deal with Bramble. So I updated on Wattpad for like 6 months before like I finished the book, and then I got my agent, and then I got my deal, and it's a trilogy, so 3 books with the same characters, and I have everything completed. I just finished the 3rd book this year. That one took me, I think, 2 months to write, but yeah.
Wow. I might be jealous.
But Naima, how long does it take you to write a novel normally?
Okay, and like if I have, it depends. Like if I have, they give me 4 months to write it, then a month.
You're funny. How about you, Chloe? How long does it take you normally to write a book?
It really depends for me. I have a 6 book high fantasy series, and I was getting those out. It still is an indie published series, and I was getting those out every 6 months, and that is writing, editing, and having the next book written in that time. And now I'm so much slower. I don't know if you guys are the same, that the more books you write, the slower you get. I don't know. Is it just me? I find it harder as you go on. But so nowadays, I'd say about 2 months. But I do have contemporary romance as well. I've got a contemporary romance duet, and I found those so much quicker to write and also a lot of fun to write. I really love writing contemporary romance. I have a couple more planned for that. So it depends on the book, the depth of the world, if it's fantasy, and that's about it.
Right, because when you're writing fantasy, you have all that world building that you have to do. You have to keep track of all whatever the magic systems and all of the history in the background. And if you're writing rom-com, you're just really just 2 characters bouncing off of each other, and it's so much easier. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
JT, how long does it take you to write a book? Because yours are so in depth, and you have like a big cast, because they usually have spin-offs, like they have a sequel. So how long does it usually take you to write
Well,
one?
again, like Chloe said, it depends. My first book that I ever wrote took me about 6 months, but a lot of that was just, I didn't have self-confidence in the writing process. I kept second guessing myself. I kept going back for rewrites. I was never really sure if it was good enough. And now it takes me about 3 months, but the older I get, the more I find that I'm lazy and I procrastinate a lot. So if I don't have a firm deadline, I will maybe write 500 words a day and then just go wander off and do something else. And my husband is like, you have this book due next week. I'm like, yeah, it'll work out. Don't worry about it. Which probably makes you have a heart attack, Naima. But
not as much as you think.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, about 3 months, 4 months. And usually when I'm done with the novel, it's done. There's not a lot of edits to be done. I kind of edit as I go. So, I'll write a few chapters, and then the next day I'll go back and I'll read it and I'll edit, and then I'll start up again. But for me, because I don't plot, the middle can get a little hairy where I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going. And so sometimes I have to try one direction and see if it feels right. And if it doesn't, then I have to try another direction. So that usually takes up a little bit of time. But the only time I did try to outline a novel, I hated the process so much. And I just found it so stifling that I ended up never writing that book. So I just don't do it anymore. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Now I just drink a lot of white wine and everything. That's my secret. But yeah, when you're writing series that have spin-off characters, it is a little bit easier because you already are familiar with the characters. You're kind of familiar with their backstory. But when you're writing a standalone, everything is brand new. The world is new. The characters are new. So it does take a little bit of time to get to know your characters. But.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would say I would jump in with a question that's not really related, it's semi-related to one of the questions that are in there. So did you start off reading romances, or did you write a romance before you read a whole lot of romance? In other words, were you a kid that read a lot of romances as a kid, or did you read sci-fi or westerns or mysteries and then gradually go over that? Or did you one day pick one up and then say, I could do that, I can write that, or I have a story in me, or I know these 2 characters? Where did that start with you?
Let's have Rebecca answer that one because she's our
Yes.
debut.
Okay, so when I was little, I read a lot of historical romances.
Mm.
Yeah, so I loved the way everything was, and like the writing, the languages. When I say languages, I mean like the way they talk and all. So I like read a lot of that. When I started writing, I focused more on paranormal romance because I love anything vampire, werewolves, stuff that go bump in the night. I so like that's what I started writing with. Then I started moving to like romance, fantasy, sci-fi, and then my dark romance that I started 2020. And yeah, from there I started writing more dark stuff. Currently now I'm working on a dark academia. So but yeah, basically I started with historical romance.
Love that. Well, I started reading romance at an age that was probably way too young because I started reading historical romance too because it's what my mother bought. And my sister and I would sneak her books because she worked third shift. So when she went to work, we would sneak her books out of her cabinet and read them and put them back just so by the time she got home, so she wouldn't know. So like Joanna Lindsay, Beatrice Small, like she was really slipping. Like she was really slipping with watching us because yeah, we should not have been reading Beatrice Small at 11. So, but I wrote my first romance at 12.
Wow.
And yes, and it was because I realized that nobody else was going to write the epic love story between me and Ralph Tresvant from New Edition. And I waited. Nobody else was going to do it. So I took it upon myself to do it. And I almost killed him off, like almost broke like the number one rule in romance because I was just starting out. So, I can't be blamed. I was just starting out. So we almost didn't have our HEA because I put him in the ICU. But I woke him up with a kiss. So I was well ahead of my time with the whole fairy tale thing. Fairy tale reading.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, so I was writing books at 12.
Wow. Wow. You were born to do it.
Seriously, I don't know why my father acted shocked when this happened many years later.
I feel like we should have an interview with your dad in on it so he can, reply to all these things.
No, we don't, because he's just he'll agree. I'm just gonna say he's gonna agree. He will not, but he would.
Okay. How about you, Chloe?
Me, I was a Wattpad girly, so I'm so happy to hear, Rebecca, that you started, like, your book was on Wattpad. I read a lot from that, and I was really into, yeah, the teenage romances, the high school romances, but also paranormal romances. I consumed an unholy amount of werewolf romances, shifter romances, and it's funny because I don't write that. I mean, never say never. Might get in my backlist at some point, but I loved paranormal romance, which is something I haven't written yet. But that's kind of where my lore started, was on Wattpad. I did write. I don't know when I wrote on Wattpad. It was fairly young, but yeah, I broke the cardinal rule as well. I'm pretty sure I killed off the main female character at the end. One of my favorite all-time movies is Moulin Rouge, and so at the last minute, at the last minute, I was like, I'm going to turn this into a tragedy. So yeah, that was good times. Good times.
That's awesome. Okay. Did everybody else go?
Mhm.
Okay. So I grew up in a family of readers. And so books and newspapers and everything were always around our house. And I loved to read. I did not read romance. I read like a lot of dark young adult stuff, like Judy Blume and the V.C. Andrews Flowers in the Attic. I really liked that stuff. And I love Stephen King. And I love it when people die in books. So I like really dark literature, like Cormac McCarthy, and where everybody's dead at the end and you're just like sobbing. I love that. So, which is probably why half of my books, even though I claim they're romances, somebody's dead at the end. I'm a little guilty of that, but
Yeah, you traumatize us, but you
yeah,
do.
I get a lot of hate mail about that, but it's just like, oh, you're gonna be dead now. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, I still don't read a lot of romance. One of the reasons that I find is because as a romance author, you get particular about little nitpicky things that you see in books, and if I see it, it just takes me right out of the story, and I can't enjoy it. A certain phrase or a certain sexual something that they're doing, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You know, so I don't read a lot of romance, and so I can't usually recommend people's romances, except for your ladies. Now I'll be able to tell people that they should read your romances, but yeah, so that's it for me. I like everyone to be dead at the end, so I should be writing a different. So I first started writing because I was a huge Twilight fan. And when that came out, I read an interview with Stephanie Meyer, the author of the Twilight franchise, who said that she didn't have any background in writing. She was a stay-at-home mom. She didn't go to school for it or anything. She just woke up one morning from a dream about, you know, this vampire who was falling in love with this girl that he actually also wanted to kill. And I'm like, well, if she can do it, I can do it, right? I mean, I found that very inspirational. So I did. So I just wrote my first book, and I didn't do it until I was 40. And it's like, okay, so then I got an agent and I got a book deal, and we went on from there. But yeah, my first series was paranormal too. It was shapeshifters. And then I kind of moved into contemporary from there. But
That's amazing. I love that story. Like, I've never heard the origin story. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, my husband and I owned a flower business, and I always felt like I wanted to write a novel, but I think most people do. There's a lot of people who think I probably have a book in me, you know. And I was like, look, I'm getting old. I really need to write this book. If I'm going to do it, let's just get on this horse and write the book. So I did. Yeah, and it so far so good.
I think so. I also read VC Andrews way too young, like way too, but there was something about like all of, I should say, their books now that was just so dark and addictive. Like, oh,
and taboo. So you don't
have so taboo
storyline now. I mean, I don't know if anybody would allow that, but they were very
like so much of it. Let's just start with Flowers in the Attic. Like, that would not be allowed. But
right. But our editor at Bramble would be like,
no. We don't want to end up on the cover of New York Times for that reason.
For a bad exactly. So taboo romance is fun though. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Good memories though.
Reading all these comments.
She said, I'm curious if each author would be flattered or mad if someone wrote fan fiction of your book and did not do a good job of it.
Oh. Mad. Yeah, if you're gonna write fan fiction, make it good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I want to read it.
I don't think I would. I think I would just be like, yeah, I'm going to let you do your thing, and I don't want to read it. Like, I don't like to read my reviews. I don't want to know anything.
Don't either.
You know?
I don't either. I was just, me and Rebecca was just talking about this. Like, I don't go to Goodreads or NetGalley and read reviews because that's where the author's soul and confidence goes to die. Yeah. So I have a friend, and I just had my sister go to read them and just tell me the 5-star ones and the 4-star ones. But it's like, yeah, especially when you're in the middle of that book coming out. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, just don't do it to yourself. Just don't. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's very difficult not to, because you're curious about what people's responses are to it. But I generally find that the 3 stars are the most helpful. If you're going to read anything, ignore the 5 stars because they're just going to rave. And the 1 stars, sometimes it's like, you don't want to get that in your head. But the 3 stars, you know, they might give you a little constructive criticism that's actually useful. But I just try not to do it at all.
I had a couple. Yeah. I've had, she read them to me anyway. It's true.
I know I've seen several times where people have a trusted friend who reads a bunch of them and then just gives them a general flow of what it is, and then it's less painful, and then it helps you remember that that's a space for reviewers and readers to share information about each other.
Yeah.
And you know, every book is different for every person, every book a reader, every reader a book. And, you know, you have writer spaces, you have reader spaces, and it's probably great to go on there and see about other people's books or people in your genre to sort of keep up with it. But yeah, I don't, why do that to your self-esteem? If you see the ones, and a lot of the 1 stars are really unfair. They'll just say, I couldn't connect with any characters, or the female character is, you know, unlikable. And it's like, but is the author's job to make them likable or to make a really good story? So.
Some of the 1 stars are actually hilarious. Like if you can take your ego out of it, so since I've been publishing for 15 years now, I will go back and read some of the 1 stars. I just did this whole video thing about my best 1-star reviews, and they are funny. People get so worked up, and you're just like, wow, somebody needs a cookie.
My favorite was fuck this book.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, reviews can be brutal, but those are for they're for readers. They're not for the author.
Yeah. One of my favorite 1-star reviews was, and it was on a freebie, but the person said, this book is free, but still don't download it and give her money.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, have a nice day.
I can't do anything but laugh. I was like, damn, did I steal your boyfriend on a playground or something? Like, what?
Maybe. That's funny.
Well, somebody in the chat wanted to know what you all are reading right now. So obviously it doesn't have to be a romance. It could be anything. But what are you reading right now? Or what did you just finish? Or what are you looking forward to that you would recommend to other people to read?
Chloe.
I was recently on an Emily Henry kick, so I devoured quite a lot of her books. The most recent one was her newest release. I think it was A Great Big Beautiful Life. But my favorite of hers is probably Book Lovers, but more semi-recently, I read Blood Over Brighthaven, which I would recommend everybody read. It is so good. It is, I can't rave about it enough. The messages that are in that are so important. They're so important and relevant to what's going on. So I would recommend Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to recommend that book. So when Chloe said that, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I have to. So it's fiction?
Yeah, it's hard to define because it's got like fantasy elements, a kind of like really unique magic system. But the themes of the book, it has like, I don't know if you're going to be better at explaining this, Rebecca, but yeah, it does have magical elements, but it is kind of modern as well. But this kind of like dystopian setup world.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to explain that other than the female protagonist is just amazing. The messages in it, it's got like a crumb of romance, but it like keeps you hooked. So romance isn't like the theme of the book or anything, but it has this crumb that is just like so well done. And yeah, I can't even like describe the ending, so I don't want to say it's like not a happy ending, but it's a bittersweet ending. And yeah, it's a standalone, so I do think that you can learn a lot from that book, and the writing style is amazing as well. So
okay, good rec.
I'm a book whore, so I listen to whatever mood I'm in. So I'm listening to Still See You Everywhere by Lisa Gardner because I love her. That's not romance, that's thriller, suspense, and I love her. So Still See You Everywhere. I'm listening to that by her, and that's free in Kindle Unlimited too, if you love Lisa Gardner. So, but I just finished reading Player's Prayer by Neek Mills, and that book was fantastic. If you love urban fiction romance or you want to try it, go ahead and get that book because it was wonderful. I love an unhinged hero, and he was unhinged and just like hilarious, but he was also so sensitive, and he met his match in her, like met his match. She brought him to his knees, and that is everything I love in a hero and a heroine.
That's a good rec too. Okay. I just finished reading The Wedding People, and I'm sorry, but I can't remember the author's name, but it's about a middle-aged woman who gets divorced and she decides she's going to end her life. So she checks into a really high-end posh hotel to kill herself and gets caught up in the wedding that's happening there. And it's brilliant. It's funny. It's very insightful into relationships and the things that we pretend that we might want to be, but maybe we aren't really. So yeah, The Wedding People. It was really, really good. I loved it. And there's a romance in there too, like a second romance, later in life romance. It was good.
That does sound funny. That's the premise of it.
Oh my God. And actually it sounds like it could be depressing, but it wasn't. It was, the premise of it. Yeah, I'm going to go kill myself. But what happens is actually really good. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you ever read A Man Called Ove, by Frederick Bachman or whatever. It's about an old man who loses his wife and he decides it's time for him to kill himself. And then he keeps botching it. He can't do it. And he gets involved in his neighbors' lives. And so it's kind of a feel good, even though it sounds like it shouldn't be, but it is.
That's good writing.
Yeah.
So I know that we all have releases coming out at the end of this year. So I'm not going to go first. I'm just telling you this right now, even though mine does come first out of all of ours. So I'm going to nominate JT to go first, and she was nominating everybody else.
Yeah, I like to boss people around and tell them what to do. Sorry.
I'm shooting my shot first about your upcoming release at the end of the year, towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. What about it?
Go ahead. Can you tell us about it? Can you tell us anything that we already don't know from the synopsis? In other words, I just want to be nosy. If you can
be nosy. Okay, I like it. At about 80%, it gets into WTF territory, like a lot of my books do. Toward the end of the book, it's like, what is happening? What is real? What's not real? What is happening and how is she going to make this work? Because it gets really weird. It gets creepy and dark, and because it's a Gothic romance, of course, the heroine has to be in peril, but she's such a grumpy black cat heroine that she just keeps refusing to get dragged into all of this stuff with the hero, our brooding, sexy hero. And and halfway through the book, you're just going to be like, what is going on? So that's about all I can tell you. Because, I don't like to give spoilers about my books because there's just a lot of crazy, strange situations.
Yeah, they're twisties. They're twisty.
And this one has a big twist. And the epilogue, I think, is probably going to leave people staring at the wall. That's my favorite thing to do.
Okay, I got one question. Is it worse than Pen Pal?
It is not emotionally devastating.
Okay. All right, I got it. Okay.
It does
I had to brace myself. I did. If I knew it, I had to brace myself. Okay. All right.
It's along the lines of Perfect Strangers. I don't know if you read that, but it does have a technical happy ending.
Okay.
Happy ending.
I love Perfect Strangers.
But yeah, Pen Pal was one of those where, people are still fighting to this day over whether it had a happy ending or not. I think it did, but a lot of people.
I think it did. It's like, I think it did. I think it did. It did.
Yay. So that's it. Cool. Okay, you nominate the next one since you nominated me. You keep going. You're play mother now.
Chloe, go ahead.
The only release I've got is the ending of my trilogy. So the last book in the Nightfall trilogy, which begins with The Stars Are Dying, is coming out in December. And what I will say is I had a different ending for this book. I had I don't know if you've read like B.E. Schwab books. She tends to have these kind of like bittersweet endings, like specifically The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is one of my favorite books as well. You're kind of left with this, is it a happy ending? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But because it's in the romantasy genre, I have to go a little bit more conventional. So it is a happy ending, which is we need to have that happy ending in romantasy. and that's coming out December. I don't know the exact date. I just know it's December, early December.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, Rebecca.
Okay. So you said you want to know something that's not in the description, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, it ends in a cliffhanger, obviously, because there's gonna be 2 more books. So there's this cliffhanger before the cliffhanger. There's this whole situation, the bomb, and a painting, and a chihuahua.
What's the chihuahua's name?
And Rory.
Okay.
Rory. So, so like the chihuahua, and like there's just chaos, a lot of chaos, and
Okay.
more chaos, and people just being confused, and the news going crazy because this group of people are turning the world upside down in a day, and it's just like crazy. But like it's gonna end in a cliffhanger that would hopefully not annoy people, but I'm
I hope it does, right?
yeah.
Okay, Becca, all I'm gonna say is I'm glad you told me that because I'm reading The Wicked right now and it is so good. I just want to tell everybody it's so good. But
Thank you.
I got to the end of that book and I didn't know it was a cliffhanger. The flaming DM you would have got from me. I'm like, where's the rest of this book? Damn it.
Some people love them, some people hate them, but you know, if
Yeah,
it's done right, even if you hate it, if it's done right, you'll still go run to get the next book.
Absolutely. And the way this book is, it's so good so far. So that would have been me. That would have been the camp that I'm in. Like, I want to read it now. So, okay, so what you probably won't be able to tell from the back of the book in the blurb is my heroine is, as she is the like the princess of the mafia family, but she is incredibly unhinged. Like she is psychopathic, unhinged. And she has been stalking the hero for 2 years because she's in love with him slash obsessed with him, and he's Bay, and he just doesn't know it yet and is in denial when he does find out. She will go scorched earth for him, whether he admits it, whether he wants to claim her or not. But since this is romance, he will eventually claim her. Spoiler alert.
Okay. I like it. It's kind of a gender role swap there with the
Yes.
stalking obsessive thing. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I had the most fun writing her because she is off. So it was fun writing.
I love it. Okay.
Okay, folks want to know if you're going to be signing books in person anywhere for your new books.
I am going on a tour in November for 6 cities. I'll be New York City. I'll be in Atlanta, Dallas, LA, Salt Lake City, and there's probably, I think North Carolina. Yeah, so I'll be doing that. I don't have the dates announced yet, but I will be going on tour early November. Those dates will go up on my website as soon as I know exactly when we're going.
Same. I'm going on a book tour for Huntsman, and so far, I think I don't know the exact dates yet, and they're still setting the entire tour schedule. But so far, I know it's Atlanta, Kentucky. I forgot which city in Kentucky. Florida at Steamy Lit's bookstore, and Reston, Virginia, and that quick I forgot. Yeah, I will put the schedule up on my website as well and post it on social media.
When does The Huntsman come out, Naima?
October 21st.
October. God, I wish we could like have a joint date somewhere, you know, to do a book signing. That would be so fun.
Ma'am, I hate to like conduct business over the panel, but if you need me to be in conversation with you for yours, I'm there for you.
Thank you. Okay, Chloe, what about you?
I won't be anywhere. I'll be Scotland bound for the rest of the year. I don't know if I'm doing anything UK towards the end of the year, but I so far don't have any plans for the US, I'm afraid.
Maybe we can all come visit you. That would be fun.
Yeah, come over to Scotland.
Volunteers tribute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Rebecca? Are you going on tour anywhere?
This year I'm not going anywhere, but like next year I have an event. November, not a tour. I don't know yet because they're still like planning things. But
Yeah.
like I have an event with the City Fling in Texas next year, June
Oh my goodness.
13th, 11 to 13. Yeah, I'll be there.
Is
Yes.
it Dallas, you think, or what part of Texas?
Austin.
Austin. Oh, okay.
Oh.
That'll be fun.
Will it be your first time coming to the US or no?
Yeah, my first time.
Awesome.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
Well, Austin's a cool progressive college town, so I think they'll probably be very enthusiastic for you.
Lots to do there. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Let's see if there's anything else. And a follow-up from JT's book, The Wedding People. The author is Allison Espach, Espach, for those of you who are wanting to check out that book. Billy's reminding everybody that all the sessions are being recorded, and you'll get a link in the next week so you can watch the sessions. They'll also be uploaded to the Bookstore Romance Day channel within a week or so, and you can purchase the author's books from the link from Steamy Link, which is in the chat, and get the audiobooks from Libro. I noticed I downloaded today 2 free romance audiobooks from Libro. There's a deal that they've got for this weekend. You can get 2 romance books free from a list of a lot of cool new authors. So I got Emma by Jane Austen, a very well-known author, and then somebody new for me to try.
Perfect.
Yeah. And nothing better than free books.
Anything else you guys wanted to share that we didn't ask or occurred to you in this time of period? And then we'll go into thank yous and ask for any last minute chance for somebody to slide in a question. And Billy wants everybody to know, of course, that there are more virtual panels going on today.
Well, I just wanted to say that it was a pleasure being on this panel with the 3 of you guys. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I just enjoyed you. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. You're so cute. I just want to. Nice to meet
it's
you.
been great.
It's very great.
You guys are all awesome ladies.
I'm going to pick up everybody's book and do a nice book report on all these. So, but
Hey, same. I already started with Rebecca's, and I will be picking up. I'll be picking up everybody else's.
And I'm sure you inspired so many people in the chat to check you all out, I'm sure.
Hopefully. Thank you for having us. This was fun.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, let me see if Billy's okay with us to wrap up, because I don't see any new Q&A. I want to thank you all for being welcoming to me. I was a last minute fill-in, and I appreciate you guys rolling with a person that you had not met before. And I know that everyone's excited to try you guys' book. And Billy, are we okay to wrap up?
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to the authors for being here with us today and talking about their books and the books that they're loving. Thank you to Audrey for stepping in when I had someone drop out. And especially thank you to Bramble for putting this panel together and for being our headline sponsor of Bookstore Romance Day this year. Thank you all, and have a great remainder of your Bookstore Romance Day weekend.
Wonderful. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.